Hey, you're about to listen to an older episode of the Volunteer Youth Worker podcast. This is a podcast that Sid Coop, Jason Ballard, and myself, Jeremy McDonald, started back in 2018 to answer the practical questions that you're asking in your youth ministry. But lots has changed since we started it in 2018. We've changed the name. We're doing new and different events and lots of other things. The thing that hasn't changed, though, is the content you're about to listen to, we think is still really valuable. But if you notice that some of the things we're talking about are obviously a little bit older, that is okay. You can always head to youthworker.community to stay up to date with what's happening currently right now here in 2024, and you can track along with us there. We'd love to see you. But enjoy this episode.
Welcome to the Youth Ministry Team Podcast. Youth ministries rise and fall on the team of volunteers. So this podcast is for the whole team. Join the conversation as we tackle the practical questions you're asking so you can be encouraged and equipped as you head into your role in your youth ministry this week.
Welcome, everybody, to another conversation here on the podcast. Now, Sid, today is a shorter episode, quite a bit shorter than maybe our usual conversations, which is surprising because it's you and Jason, actually, that are going to be chatting today. And you guys like to talk, and you like to talk for a while about ministry. So this is a short one about the 4 core responsibilities of every youth worker. Tell people about what this is all about, what this series is.
Yeah, you know what the series is, Jared, is we were just thinking through, volunteer youth workers. What are the primary responsibilities each volunteer youth worker should lean into? And if there were 4 things that every volunteer could do, what would not only shape them, it would also shape the culture or environment they're working in, and then therefore shape the lives of students. And it would be really practical, really easy to remember, and actually really powerful. And so we just really wrestled with what could shape that, and we came up with 4 core responsibilities. They're engage and play, guide and pray. And we'll explain each of those 4 in depth in subsequent videos. And so, by the way, what's great, Jared, they're going to hear the intro to it, which is going to be super helpful. But you should know that for the Youth Worker Community Road Tour coming up in October, if you sign up for it, you automatically get a link to download those videos that could help train and equip you, or if you're part of a team, train and equip your team or community that's doing youth ministry together, or if you're a point leader, these would be great videos for you to use on a weekly basis just to do a quick training time with your leaders that could really help them be intentional with how they're engaging kids for the sake of the gospel in whatever environment you find yourself in. So we're excited about the video series. We hope that you find it really helpful. And hey, listen, this podcast will give you a sense of what it's all about.
Yeah, and I love that it's a sense, and it's also a great piece of training in and of itself. This isn't just like an ad. This isn't just like teeing up something. Obviously, there's more to it, but you'll get lots of help out of this conversation, which I love. And then before we jump into the conversation, let's just give a little shout out to Trinity Western, helping make this podcast happen. Great institution, university, school that you can be sending your students to, but you can also go to yourself. A wide range of programs are available through, and we got the link to their website in our show notes. But what I love, and we talk about this a lot on the podcast about Trinity Western and what we love about them, I like that there is a place where you can send your teenagers. They get a high quality education. It's not necessarily that they have to study to be in ministry, but they could study to be all sorts of different vocations. But they're going to be cared for. Their spiritual life is going to be cared for by the team at Trinity Western. They really do put a lot of emphasis on that. So it's a great spot. If you haven't yet looked at it, take a look. If you've got teenagers that are trying to process the next steps for their future, you should be thinking about Trinity Western. Make sure you familiarize yourself with their programs. And if you're looking for some further education, it's not a bad option either. Trinity Western University. Anything else you want to say, Sid?
No, I'm with you, Jared. We love them. We're so thankful for the work that they do. And it would be great for any of you or your students to experience that environment. It'd be fantastic.
Great. Well, let's jump into the conversation you and Jason got to have all about the 4 core responsibilities.
You ready? Good. Well, Sid, we're back.
Isn't this fun?
It's good to be here.
Yeah.
Another round of some youth leader training. For those that don't know us, maybe a quick introduction.
Great.
Why don't you start?
Yeah, so my name's Sid. And I work with the youth worker community. And Jay, like, our organization helps encourage and equip youth workers. But to be honest with you, my love for youth workers is there. But it's greater now because my own kids have had youth workers in their lives, and I see the difference. So I am so excited.
It's good that you mentioned that you have kids that are the youth age, because you've got that thing where it's like you always surprise me. You're like a decade older than you look.
Thank you.
Because I always peg you at like a 34.
Well played.
Maybe a 38, 42. How old are you?
Hey, listen, tell us a little bit about what
My
you're
name is
doing
Jason. I'm a pastor here in Vancouver. It's the city we're in. I work with Alpha and Cards on the Table. I am no longer a youth pastor. I'm a lead pastor now, but I used to be a youth pastor. And I can say honestly that I'm more passionate about youth ministry than I ever have been before, because I think I see how much of a difference it makes. And I guess the heart of these sessions together is to invest in youth leaders, because if youth leaders get better, it's guaranteed to impact the experience that every student in that youth ministry is having.
Yeah. You know what, Jay? You can have like not great program. Your content cannot be like A+, but if your youth leaders are great and they're really intentional with what they're doing, it can change the whole experience for a young person.
It's amazing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going way back in my imagination to when I first became a youth leader.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a youth ministry environment, so I had a hunch about what my job was, but no one sat me down and said, Jay, here's your job.
Right.
And I remember being like in the room. I remember even being like a cabin leader at a summer camp, being like, I think I know I'm meant to keep these students safe. I think I'm meant to help them meet Jesus, but still not totally clear on my brief. And what we want to do in the sessions that are going to follow is give 4 core responsibilities of every single youth leader, no matter what the program, so that every youth leader that listens knows, I know what I'm here to do. Yeah. And that's to engage and play and to guide and pray.
Okay, so what people should realize right now, and they already are, is like, oh, is that a rhythm? Like, does it
rhyme?
Does it rhyme?
I think play and pray do rhyme.
Right.
And I think people are going to hear it so much that they're like almost annoyed that we keep saying it, but then we want
That's the win.
Because then they remember when they're standing there and they see a student, my job's to engage them, to have fun with them, to play with them, to guide them, and to pray for them.
Yeah, we're giving them, at any point when you're with the student, you're not sure what to do, you should do one of these 4 things, and that's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I love it. So what we're going to do in these sessions, we got 4 sessions that are going to follow. This is kind of an introduction, is we're going to go through each of those core responsibilities. At the end of this session and all 4 that will follow, we'll have some time for discussion. But just as a bit of a primer before we throw to discussion, why don't we just hit through those 4 by way of introduction. So starting with engage. What's this idea of engage?
Yeah, so the idea behind engage is that we as leaders would carry the responsibility to become active. We wouldn't be passive and sitting back, waiting for kids to come to us, waiting for kids to talk to us, but rather we would own that, close the gap, and go to them. And it's both like really practically, Jay. It's like seeing a kid that just got out of the car, is starting to move towards the door of the building you're in, and you get to them before they get to the building, right?
Totally.
Yeah. And it's not just like practically moving there, but it's also engaging in active listening. So asking the questions, drawing out the story, showing an interest in the individual. So we're all saying, hey, own that. Move towards them, be active, don't be passive, engage.
Imagine if every single student in youth group, in any youth program, had a youth leader that actively kind of engaged them, pursued them, never standing alone, never feeling isolated from the whole. That would be powerful. So engage and then play.
So one of the words, Jay, that you and I both agree should be used when describing a youth ministry would be fun.
Has to be fun.
Has to be fun. And when we talk about playing, we're talking about like physical activity, literally playing together. It's amazing what a difference it can make for a relationship with a young person when we just play with them.
Totally.
Right? It's non-threatening. It shows value. It's enjoyment. It's great. So we physically think, we should play together. We should do activities. We should do sports. We should do whatever. And we're not talking about competition here. We're talking about enjoying one another. Totally. So we think it should be physically playing. But again, it's more than just that. It's a disposition of play.
It's a posture of like, I actually enjoy being around you guys.
Exactly. Yeah. And we just know that our kids feel really loved when they're enjoyed by other people.
And here's what's going on here is if youth leaders engage students, enjoy them, have fun with them, that's going to build a relationship.
Yeah.
And relationships are the foundation for great youth work, always.
But they're not the end of the youth work.
It's not the goal in and of itself. The goal is to, on the foundation of that relationship, go on a journey with students, help them navigate life in a healthy way. And so engage and play about relationship. And then there's these other two ideas, guide and pray. And that's about building on that relationship and taking students on a journey over time. So talk about guide.
Yeah, so we want to move our kids somewhere. Like that's really clear, right? And so that's why we do this ministry. And so when we talk about guide, we take the responsibility to move kids into deeper relationship with Jesus. Ultimately, that's what we want to do. But guiding, Jay, and we'll talk about this more in our session, is so much more than just like speaking or downloading information to them. It's about modeling something for them. So the most effective way that we guide a student to Jesus is by modeling a life that's passionate about following Jesus.
I know that when we were prepping this content, we chose guide over teach or other things like that, because it's not just like transferring information. And it's not that we can actually we can't control the outcomes when it comes to students. Like there is this sense by which we come along and guide, but they're their own person, obviously. But we get to enter into their life, build a relationship, engage and play, and then guide them through life. And then obviously where we're trying to guide them is towards Jesus. And we have a partner in this journey. And the partner is the Holy Spirit. And that's why the last thing that we do, like one of our core responsibilities as a youth leader, is to pray for our students. And I think these are deeply connected, because when you start trying to guide students, you realize how powerless you are at times. You know, it can be very, very overwhelming and discouraging. But here's what's incredible. God likes these kids more than we do. He's more powerful than we are, and he actually wants to make more of a difference. And one of the ways that we partner with God, who's actively pursuing teenagers, is by praying for them. It's an incredible privilege. And imagine this, if every youth leader said, I've got these 8 youth in my life and I pray for them every day, man, that would make a difference.
So Jay, you often say this, and I've picked it up over the last while, that if we do youth ministry really well, our youth ministry is probably going to get messier. So if you do,
it's going to feel messier, that's for sure.
Yeah. So if you do engage and play really, really well, and then you own the responsibility to guide kids, all of a sudden they're going to start opening up. They're going to start sharing stories. You're going to be invited into some of the most difficult places of their lives. And if you're like me, you can feel really overwhelmed at times.
Totally.
Without a doubt. And that's why we lean into prayer, because it really is. It's beyond us, but it's not beyond God. And when we pray, he's ordained that his power is released through prayer.
It's amazing.
Like he changes lives through prayer. So we think a lot about praying for students. We think a lot about praying with students. We think a lot of prayer just being kind of the way we are in our minds wherever we are. That begins, like that idea of praying continuously, that becomes the covering over the ministry that we do with kids.
I love it. If every youth leader listening right now walked away saying, my job is to engage students, play with students, have fun with them, to guide them with my life and my words, and to pray for them, I think that it would make a massive impact.
Okay, so Jay, just think about your own kids. Think about your kids being a junior high student and walking into a space, right?
Terrifying thought, but yeah, go ahead.
But they walk into a space and they keep bumping into different adults that are living these realities out, like over and over again. Can you imagine what your child is expressing when they walk into your car at the end of the evening? Like if this is what they've experienced over and over and over again that night, it would be so...
I love it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this at the end of every session. We're going to have some time in smaller groups to discuss it out, to learn from one another. We're going to come back next session and do engage, and then we're going to move through each one over time.
You know what happens, Jay, is when these become so locked in that we can change the order and it doesn't really matter, that's when we're winning. So you're just leading us again. Thank you for that.
I love it. All right, we're going to rock it there.